Hey guys! So I know I said I'd do another friendship bracelet video this week, but I went camping this weekend and I had a few fun stories I wanted to tell you guys. So we'll get started with story number 1. So I'm calling this first story Lost in the Lake. Why? Well, we went camping with our neighbors, and first off, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Hi. But so they have these kayaks. They have a 2-person kayak and 2 1-person kayaks. So my youngest sister was in front of me in the 2-person kayak, and then my other sister, she was in the 1-person kayak, and then their oldest son was in the other 1-person kayak. So the parents wanted to go on a hike, and I didn't really want to hike, but I did want to go on the canoes, or kayaks. I always say canoes. But so I wanted to go out on the kayaks, and their oldest child was actually already out. He was on the lake with one of his friends that he made that day, and so I was like, hey, we can go out and find him, and then we can meet you at the spot. So we agreed upon it, and we agreed to meet at the third little cove. And you know, that's fine and all, but this is my second time at that lake, and I didn't know where the third cove was. I assumed that their other child would know how to get there, and I assumed wrongly. So me and my sisters went out on the lake. We found their oldest child, and so we just kind of paddled around, and I was like, okay, cove 1, 2, 3. This is where we're meeting them. We got there, and there was no one there. I'm like, crap, are we at the wrong place? And immediately my sister, she's like, oh no, we're lost, we're gonna die, over exaggerating. I feel bad because she was so scared. I'm like, no, don't worry, I know where the table is. I mean, I don't have my phone on me. And they're like, that made the panic even worse. You don't have your phone on you? Oh no, we're gonna die. I'm like, okay, no, calm down, you're okay. And so we just kind of paddle around aimlessly, and I was like, man, where are they? And we saw these people walking. I'm like, is that them? Is that them? I was like, no, that's too many people to be our group. And I was like, okay, where are they? So we're just kind of wandering around. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then my sister, she's getting tired. She's only 10. So she's like, I can't do this. Kayaking is hard work. And so she was getting tired. Their son was getting tired because he'd been out there for 30, 40 minutes prior. So we kind of just were floating there, and then we saw our parents. They're waving at us furiously. I'm like, there it is. So we start racing down there. I'm racing their oldest son, and my sister's like, slow down, I'm too tired. But so we're racing to them, and then we finally get there, and that was so nice. We're not lost. And so we were fine. We made it back. We continued to have a lovely rest of the day. So on to the next story. I call this story the rattlesnake scare, and it's pretty obvious why. So we were having a lovely day. We went home, but not home. We went to the campsite after we finished at the lake. So we went there, we just kind of get everything ready, we're just chilling. We had dinner, and so we sat down to play a game of Yahtzee. And so my mom went to the car to go get some popcorn, as you do when you're playing Yahtzee. I mean, you always have popcorn. No, we don't always have popcorn, but it's so much fun to snack on something while you're playing a board game, right? So my mom went to go, and she was getting out of the car, and she felt there was just something behind her. She's like, man, I really feel like something back there. So she turned around and turned the flashlight with her, and she saw a snake. She's like, oh, that's not good. So she's called my dad over and the neighbor, and so they both ran over, and of course I'm like, snake, I want to see the snake, which I am scared of snakes, but I mean, seeing a snake is pretty cool, right? You're camping, you don't really see them when you're at home, at least I hope you don't. But so I was like, I want to see a snake, so I go over there, and then I'm trying to get pictures too, because I'm like, oh, this is the cool, the fun little story, right? No. This is where stuff turns. The neighbor and my dad look at it and they're like, no, guys, get back. That's a rattlesnake. And we're all like, oh, that's some serious stuff right there. Rattlesnakes, they're really dangerous. So I was far enough back. I was behind the dads, so I was like, okay, I can go back now. But one of their sons had jumped up onto their car, and he was to get look at the snake. And then so he was kind of stuck there. He's like, oh. I was like, when I was walking back, I'm like, I don't know how he's going to get down, because that snake was a fair amount in front of him, but as I had been leaving, it had coiled up, so it's ready to strike. And so we're like, oh, this isn't good. So my dad goes and he gets a shovel, so he's like, I'm going to decapitate this snake. And so honestly, my mind goes to yes, decapitation, guillotine, joking around, being lighthearted, because everyone's kind of scared, because a rattlesnake in your camp is scary. It was a fair distance away from us. We were all perfectly fine. It was by the cars, which were pretty far away, but it's still scary. I mean, you're in the wild, but you don't really think about that until you run into creatures like that. So I'm just trying to keep the kids calm. That they were freaking out. They had a whole other thing going on, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But so you just hear these sounds as they're like trying to hit the snake, and they're like, oh my gosh, and then like you hear the like other exclamations as the snake is like moving. So the snake eventually slithers far enough away, and their son is able to jump off the car, and he walks over, and he comes and sits down by us, and so that was good. And you just hear as the dad start throwing rocks at it. And so the snake got away, which isn't a fun end to the story, but luckily we didn't have any other problems for the rest of the days we were there. But yeah, no one got bit. That was really good too, but it just a rattlesnake scare. So we're moving on to the third story, which I like to call June in July. Why? I mean, 'cause that's a pretty weird thing to say, like, June and July, that's not even possible. It is possible if it's June bugs in July. So you're like, June bug, like, what? Like, why June bug? Okay, so their second, like, the middle child from their family was catching bugs because they had a bug catcher. So obviously what they wanted to do was catch bugs. Yes. So they're catching bugs, and there's like this one bug that comes near them. They're like, what's that bug? And it was a June bug. So they're like, yeah, a June bug, that's so rare, it's July. It was like after the 4th of July, so it's like July 5th. It's like, yes, the June bug, it's so weird to find one in July. So I'm just watching there, and they kept finding June bugs. They kept finding them, and they put them all in this cage. They also found this really cool stag beetle. I didn't get a good picture of it, but it was really cool. And so that's the really short one, but that's just June and July. So I call this fourth story To the End of the Rainbow and Back. That seems like a pretty odd thing to say when you're going camping, right? I mean, you wouldn't really expect to see a rainbow, I guess. I mean, I do live in Arizona, so it's hot, and it doesn't rain that much, right? Wrong. We have a season called monsoon season where it rains. Not that it's really rained all that much this monsoon season, but we were lucky enough on our second day there to be able to have a little small rainstorm. Or was it only a rainstorm? Wait for the next story. So we were just going to the lake. My sister really wanted to go fishing. She's like begging all day, can we go fishing? Can we go fishing? Can we go fishing? Finally, we were going fishing, and she was so happy. She was over the moon. So we were driving down there, and it was raining. And so I'm looking at the window, and I see something. There's a rainbow in the trees. Like, you could walk from point A to point B. Like, that's what it looked like. It looked like you could take a little hike. And we were like, is there any gold there? And there wasn't, but it was so cool, so pretty. So we'll move on to our final story. So this last story has my favorite title, like by far. It is just amazing. So let me tell you the story of I scream, you scream, we all scream because it's hailing. So in Arizona, yeah, you get your monsoons, you get your rain. It's pretty nice, pretty fun. It's always a good time. But as we were going to the lake, like just barely as we were going to there to start fishing, it started hailing. I hope you could guess that from the title. But so it's hailing. And so it started out pretty small. You're like, oh, whoa, cool hail. And then it got bigger. You're like, man, it's really hailing. And it went on that for like, I don't know how long it was. Maybe it wasn't that long, but it seemed like it was a pretty long time. And you're watching people as they run to the cars, and they're just soaked. They are drenched. They're trying to cover themselves. They're like holding jackets over their head, trying to get their canoes in the car. Like, it was crazy. And it was just really fun. Like, to see that it was really loud too. Like, you're sitting there in the car, like, is this ruining the car? Like, what is this doing? But also, it was like, since it's hailing and it was raining, the water is getting a little mixed up, so the fish are all jumping. So we're all like, look at the fish is jumping. It's just a really fun time. Then my sister and my dad went fishing because there's only 2 poles that we have. So they were fishing, and they didn't catch anything. My sister almost caught something, but she accidentally pulled her rod out too soon, and she missed it. But they did catch like 2 crawdads. They caught those, so that was fun. They put one on the deck, and it kind of just walked over and then just like jumped off the edge. That was pretty fun too. So I was able to get some pretty cool pictures. I have just like ducks. I took lots of people. Yeah, like actual people. If you've ever seen my pictures, it's lots of flowers. But I did get lots of the nature, and it's just a really pretty place. I also forgot to mention, I totally made a lot more bracelets while I was there. I actually made a speed run video of how I made a really big bracelet. This one had like 12 different strings, which is insane. That's a lot of string. It's my first time doing something that big, but it turned out really good. This is like my 4th of July, Veterans Day, Memorial Day kind of bracelet. So yeah, it's just really fun, and I just wanted to show you guys how I make my bracelets. So yeah. So this is a little bit of a shorter video, and it's different than the last two I've done. You gotta see my face this time. Like, what? A whole video with my face in it. I really hope you like it. If you like content like this, or you want to see more stuff, more fun musical ideas or craft ideas, then be sure to subscribe and leave a like if you liked it. And yeah, see you soon.